Hi there and welcome to Wine Searcher. Today we're celebrating Malbec Day, and to do that I've picked out a wine that was recently named as our most searched for Malbec in an article we published recently, and this is Catena Zapata's Argentino Malbec 2019. So I have to show you this label because it's absolutely fantastic. It's sort of sepia, and I hope you can see the first character there. There are 4 women on this label depicted, and the first of these is Eleanor of Aquitaine. And this is telling the story of Malbec in Argentina. So Aquitaine, southwest France, and this is the area the Malbec grape comes from. You can actually see there's a depiction of the bridge in Cahors that's quite famous down there. I'm not quite sure what the little monkey is, but anyway, never mind. Next we have an immigrant. She depicts an Italian immigrant to Argentina, taking vines with her. I'm assuming the arrows depict the suffering of the immigrants sort of having to establish themselves in a new country. And then this 4th wonderful character here is evidently is Madame Philoxera. So Philoxera was actually a vine louse that ate most of Europeans' vines in the late 1800s. So the idea here is that the vine having left for Argentina, those vineyards that produced fabulous wines in Europe were all destroyed. And then finally we have Adrianna Catena there, who is there to depict the rebirth of fabulous Malbec in Argentina. So brilliant story, beautifully laid out in this. I mean, it looks like a print from an engraving, but also just looking, these darker things there, I'm not quite sure whether you can see those. Those are the grapes, and they've just been picked out in a shiny red. And I can imagine that having this on a table with candles burning, well, that would produce a fantastic effect. So anyway, enough about the label, which is wonderful, but we're here to talk about the wine. This is a flagship wine, really, from Catena Zapata, because this is a selection from within some of their finest vineyards. So to make this wine, they take 2 vineyards. There's the Nicasia vineyard and the Angelica vineyard. And the Angelica vineyard is planted with 90-year-old vines, and they're from a special selection that the Catena family have made that were from vines that were pre-Philoxera imported into Argentina. So they have 90-year-old vines, and the other vineyard, the Nicasia vineyard, is 20 years old, and that was planted with a selection of vines that were cut from the Angelica vineyard, propagated, and are now 20 years old and producing, again, relatively mature vines, producing low yields, concentrated fruit. So these 2 vineyards are in different areas around Mendoza. One is in the San Carlos district of the Uca Valley, and the other is in Maipú. So these are both vineyards at about 1,000 meters above sea level. So you get the wonderful cooling of the night, but you get fantastic sunshine hours during the day. So the wines get fabulous ripeness, but also manage to retain their acidity and freshness, so you get a great balance with them. Now, with these concentrated, highly selected fruit, what they've done is they've barrel fermented them. So with a barrel about this sort of size, 225 litre, they've taken the top off the barrel, and the wine's been fermented in the barrel to soften the tannins and not to break them up too much by crushing them and destemming them. Some of the fruit was fermented as whole bunches, and the majority of the rest of it was fermented as whole berries. So that slows the fermentation and makes quite a soft extraction. And there was no pumping over anything else. With a barrel like this, you could simply push down the cap of skins back into the fermenting juice to ensure that colour and flavour and tannins are extracted from them. The wine underwent its malolactic conversion in a barrel and then spent 15 months in oak. And the idea there was to get sort of seamless oak integration to lie alongside this really sort of intense fruit. So looking at the wine, I mean, it's got fantastic colour. That is virtually opaque. It's a sort of a black, purple, red. Looking at the rim, it holds its colour right to the rim, where it's very purple there. There are striking legs. I don't know if you can see those in but certainly they're very visible the way the wine is running down the side there, so which talks to the wine's density and probably that it's got relatively high alcohol. To smell it, you've got a richness, a ripe, rich berry, sort of red berry, maybe an underlying licoricey note of ripeness, but also a sort of a soft milkiness, and no particular obvious notes of oak. So let's have a taste of it. That's a very big, smooth, supple wine. I mean, its ripeness is apparent. It has lovely freshness. My mouth is alive with acidity. It's not sharp because there's plenty of ripe sort of mulberry and plum notes to that fruit. It's just sort of it's a dark fruit. It's got a black licorice core, but as it opens in your mouth, it's a more sort of red fruit side of things, that very ripe plum. The lovely, smooth, velvety texture to plentiful tannins. I mean, it's a big wine, without necessarily being a huge blockbuster. The alcohol is warming, but not too hot. The finish is long. It's not overpowered by the alcohol. The flavours are lasting beautifully. I mean, this is only a 2019 wine, and it's very, very well integrated already. But given its alcohol, its acidity, its concentration, I think that's a wine that has a 20-year life ahead of it very easily. But you know, you'd be doing well to keep it that long because it's so delicious now. I mean, this has received some really good reviews from wine critics such as James Suckling and the Wine Advocate recently, sort of in the high 90s, and I can see why. Price wise, that is about $100 US, so you know, not a cheap wine, but not inaccessible from that point of view for a wine with that kind of score. So yes, happy Malbec Day everybody. I hope you enjoy it. Bye now.